Good, good, good evening, everybody. We are here. I'm back. I think I was here a little longer than I planned on. Often, or let me put it this way, a little more often than I planned on. But I am here, thankful that we have gotten through the wonderful, fantastic Harlem Holistic Health and Wellness Week. This has been a journey. This has been fun. It's been eye-opening. It's been interesting. It's been all the things all the words I can think to describe it. It's been over the last week, starting last Saturday with Karen Ann Webster and Awaken and Arise at 7 o'clock in the morning. And we did it again today. And we have some great interviews and some great people. And I have the pleasure of closing it out and bringing in a brother that I know. Met him some time ago. We did some business dealings together, and in the process, learned that this brother knows a lot about health. And I thought I knew a lot about health and knew some things, but this brother knows a lot about health, and probably is people talk a lot, but he practices what he preaches, and people who I know who know him say, no, he's the real deal. If he says this, it's pretty real. So we're just going to have a regular conversation. Two guys who are just going to talk some health. I'm going to bring him in right now. Ladies and gentlemen, here he is right now. It's my man, Mr. Des Sealy. Des, how you doing, bro?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for having me on this show.
Yes, sir, brother. Thanks for coming on, man. This is the last show of Harlem Health and Wellness Week, and I thought it would be fitting to close it with just, two guys, two people just talking health. We're not doctors. We're not in the medical profession. We whatever we say in our own opinion, take it for what it is. If you think we're crazy, then you'll think we're crazy. If you think because they're on point with something, you'll think we're on point with something. But we're just two guys just going to talk about health and wellness and our interpretations and what we believe and what we've seen. Both of us probably have come to the health and wellness world from different angles. I know mine was kind of started back when I was a youth with playing football and martial arts, and that's where I learned the martial art world when I was like 10 or whatever. Learned how to meditate, and meditation. To this day, I got better and better at it, and to this day, that's one of the things I meditate 2 times a day if I can. Sometimes only twice or once, depending on the schedule, but I make sure I meditate every day. That journey led me into other things, and I think I became a critical thinker at some point in time when I was in my mid-teens. I thought the whole world was crazy. Everything I was reading just didn't make no sense. I would, challenge everything, whether it was in the Bible, whether it was in textbooks, I would challenge everything. And, my mother thought I was crazy, but she knew I was sharp and she knew I was smart and that I was probably on to something. Just through my life. And then, I think in my late teens, or early 20s, probably, I got involved with Queen Afua and Baba Herdu. And with the Shrine of Patah, and I've been there ever since. And being around them, you can't help but think about health. All you do is health. Queen of Fu is making you're going to heal yourself and stuff at some point in time. Doing that. So I remember back in the days, I got into juicing very heavily. I remember I used to watch commercials. I used to see what's that guy? It's a white dude. Juice Man. Thank you. Yeah, right. Yes. And I used to see his commercials all the time. That's when I bought the juicer. And I bought about 3 books on juicing. And, I don't juice as much as I would like to now. And I need to get back into it, but I was a juiceaholic, man. I would just juice all the time and, do those things. And unfortunately, later on in life, I think when I was about 30, right before I got married, my mother fell ill. And she fell terminally ill and died from cancer, and in her death, watching her die and deteriorate, from that, slowly too. She died from ovarian cancer, and my ex-wife and I kind of really started studying cancer and studying because I remember when she died, they gave her a book. Never forget it. Gave her a book and a bunch of things to take home from the hospital. And in those books, it gave you everything what not to eat, dairy products. And so I'm like, well, if you told her that before, she probably wouldn't be sick now. Why you wait till somebody gets sick to tell them when not to eat when it's too late? And I found that in life that happens a lot. We're told things, as children and in textbooks and everywhere what to do, and then you really find out you really shouldn't do that. You should do the opposite, and you'll live a healthier, more successful life. So that was kind of my journey. But let's hear your journey and how you got started in I'm considering you we're not doctors, we're not, medical professionals, we're not certified in anything, or me just being crazy maybe. But we're not, but we all have a journey. And we all talk to people all the time. I've talked to tons of people during health and wellness, doctors, lawyers, nurses, health practitioners on all levels. I've heard all kind of conversations. But what led you to your journey in the health world?
Well, as a young person, and I'm talking about, 9, 8 years old, I was the number one junk food eater in my family.
Me too.
I mean, ring dings, cupcakes, now and later. I mean, if there was candy, I really liked it. And I used to actually get sick every year for like a week. And I'd be bedridden. I mean, I wasn't like, dying, but it was not good. I couldn't even go to school. And that didn't really change me. What happened is I met a young lady by the name Monique Perry. I haven't spoken to Monique in a couple of years. And I met this young lady. I said, wow, this is a, very insightful young woman, but also, I'm a guy, so it's a very beautiful young lady too. And I was like, what does she do? And how does she have that glow? She said, well, as I met this brother, and he's into fasting and cleansing. And I knew of that because of, my family, my mother and father were Muslim, even though I wasn't raised a Muslim. So we did, Ramadan and fasting. Well, I didn't participate in the whole ritual all the times, but I knew what it was. So I said, well, let me find out about it. Turns out that the gentleman I met by the name Benjamin Bridges, I'm still friends with him today. He's actually mentioned in Queen Afua's book. If you ever read in the beginning section, he's mentioned it. He told me his journey of meeting Queen Afua and how Queen Afua had inspired him to go on a 321-day fast back to back. And what really got me open is he said, Des, like on the 55th day of that fast, he said, I literally fell into an arena of pure bliss. Because now in that, Des, he said, I remember waking up saying, I feel so great. He said, what really got me, Des, everything that I saw in my room and everything I saw around me had an aura around it. So what are you talking about? Now, at the time, I know what he was talking about. He said, everything Des was glowing, like bright. And I was like, you serious? He said, Des. He said, now that Des, my life from that point on totally changed. So I said, really? That made me say, all right, I want to see what this is all about. And from that point on, I read Queen Afua, Arnold Ehret, Richard Anderson, another gentleman who wrote a book, it's not around anymore, called The End of Disease by David Fastigi. I heard about Dr. Sebi, but there was no literature back then. This is back in 88, 89. I could really find about Dr. Sebi. I went to religious bookstores and read about, the ancient people who were Essenes with the sect that was behind Jesus. And I read about what people did from all different religions. And I started piecing these things together. And as I pieced them together and as I experienced different things with fasting and juicing and cleansing, it made me start to realize that, first of all, anybody knows me, I tell people that healing from any disease is very easy. But that was really my inspiration. From that point on, meeting Monique and then talking to Benjamin, and then from that point on, I really wanted to understand that I wanted to know when I got to my 30s, my 40s, my 50s, I'm on my 50s now, I didn't want to have the health issues that I saw some of my people in my family or people close to my family having. I didn't want to experience that. And I said, well, I decided I was going to really learn what health and wellness was all about. And I didn't necessarily look toward the medical profession. I wanted to go to people who knew how to get results. So it wasn't always, and that's no disrespect to my doctors and nurses, not no disrespect to them, but a lot of people that I ended up meeting and learning from were basically lay people, regular people who came with knowledge that really, really worked. So that is how I kind of got involved with this whole journey.
Mm-hmm. It's interesting. I remember as a youth, growing up in a household, and my grandmother lived in the household with us, and pretty much basically raised me because my mother was at work all the time. But I never forget, my grandmother barely ate meat, and when she did, it was very little. She always ate vegetables, always fresh vegetables. She was cooking. Oh, we had a vegetable garden in the backyard, everything. But I never forgot to this day how every day she drank water. She was walked around the house with a bottle of water in her hand.
Right.
That she was always, that she kept filled some kind of way. No matter where she was, that thing was filled. I saw her drink it. You know what I'm saying? But it got filled up again. But she drank water all the time. And some kind of way growing up singing that, I picked up that same habit. So to this day, I drink about 2 gallons of water a day. I think about 2 gallons of water a day. And it's the habit. If I'm behind my desk, I will go through a half a gallon of water in like 1 hour. So we pick up habits from our parents, from people around us. Again, my mother always brought the junk food in, so I ate the junk food. Like you did. I was a big, I
brought it in. I
yeah.
from my parents. I was the violator of the rules of the
Okay. No, it's all good. It's all good because I probably was a violator. I probably asked her to bring it in, and but as you get along in life, you start to learn about certain things. You try to get better. I know that you are a big fan of fasting, and like that's like you preach that all day long, every day, fasting first. And I remember when I started with Queen of Fu and them, and got into the fasting. So I fasted before every season. You would do at least minimum 7-day fast before every season, preferably 30 days. And I remember doing a 30-day fast all the time, 4 times a year, to 30-day fast, and did that for years. And you do feel better. And people think, oh, how you go? And we went in nothing like a fast, nothing but juice and water. And that's all you had. It was juice and water. There was no, after the sun goes down, you can eat. No, if the sun goes down, you're just going to drink some more water. And but people don't realize when you fast, your mind opens up. And, the first 3 days, I always tell people, the first 3 days are probably going to be the hardest for you. The body's craving the food and the intake of calories that you're missing. But after that 3rd day, you go on this spiritual journey, you get light, and your mind seems to clear up and you see things differently. Right. It's phenomenal. And I used to always wait to get to that 3rd day. And, by the time you got to the 3rd week, if we was on, 21-day fast or 30-day fast, it was booming. But, fasting, you said, became a big part of your life because of the brother you met who was a big faster. And you still do it.
It was him, but also as I started learning, what I began to realize along the way, and this may shock many people, is that it's one thing to learn from Queen of Fu or Dr. Sebi, Arnold Eric, because there's a lot of people who I studied, a lot of people who I read, is, the fasting does this for you, but I wanted to know why. Why does it do it? And what I realized along the way is that the reason why when you fast, you go to a spiritual euphoria, a state of bliss, a state of orgasmic bliss, is because in reality, that's your real state. And when I one day realized, I said, wait a minute. So when I eat, my energy goes down. And when I fast, my energy goes up. And I said, what does that remind me of? That reminded me of drug addicts. A drug addict, right? What happens to them? If they remove themselves from drugs, they have an upliftment. When they go back to drugs, it brings them down. So wait a minute. So could it be that food is the #1 form of drugs on this planet? And I'm talking about all food, even fruits and vegetables. And when I do fruits and vegetables, like foods, but anybody who ever fasted for 30, 40 days or 50 days, I fasted sometimes for some time period. you go into states of euphoria, states of bliss. One of the most unique experiences that happened to me back in the 90s. I met different people and said, when you fast, you're going to experience some stuff that not bad, but good. And then one of the things they told me was going into the astral plane. And I heard about this stuff before, but I'm like, what is that? You know, people say things, but it's one thing to hear it, another thing for trying to say it, another thing to experience it. So I never forget one day we did a show, me and my friends, and I came back from the show and I got in my room and was doing, meditating. And meditating, you think about love, light, harmony, bliss. The next thing I know, I was looking at myself. Now, I will tell you, Matt, I wasn't prepared for that. Scared the hell out of me. I'll tell you right now, it scared me because I was like, holy cow. Then I jumped back in my body. About 4 or 5 days later, and I'm explaining this because, that really started making me look at, me as a spiritual being, as something totally different physical being. A couple of days later, I'm fasting. I'm fasting still, and I'm still meditating. Next thing I know, I feel like air in my body. I'm like, this is weird. I'm like, because I'm on my bed and I'm laying down. Before I was sitting up, I'm laying down. So I'm feeling on my body, like I'm you're like some. But it was a nice feeling. And next thing I know, I don't know what it was. Like my eyes open. I don't know if it's a spiritual eye. I'm over in New York City. Now this time I wasn't terrified because I was like, holy cow, this is real. Now this time I was like, this is all right. I was like that for a full minute, a minute and a half. I was like, yo, this is how you're supposed to live. This is holy cow. And from that point on, that was another stepping stone for me to really start looking at all the things that people are told was said in society. Because that's not theory to me. That happened to me for a fact. And that made me start to want to understand, okay, all right, you're not a physical body. And for me to jump outside my body, that means anybody can do this. And if this body ceased to exist, I still will be around. Didn't matter. And I said this, because I wanted to kind of hopefully get into this thing about healing. It started making me realize why a lot of people never figured out that you can be healed. If your whole philosophy is that once you leave this body, that you're going to go to a place and you're going to burn it, that's, man, I felt that myth. And see, I tell people, I said, as long as you have that myth, you may have a challenge being healed. But once you get past that myth, healing is easy. But that was another stepping stone for me, having that out-of-body experience. And I would tell people, that's not something that I sought to do. I think, as people told me, said, Des, you have a lot more experiences the deeper you go. You can develop photographic memory. You can develop the fact that you can, speak different languages, all type of crazy stuff, because really we're energetic beings. So, and that's what keeps me going in this type of journey of really that particular, what are different experiences I can have. And I'm still shedding some old habits.
Sure.
So all of us, getting into this wasn't difficult, but it wasn't easy for me either. And to shift the subject a little bit, because I grew up, not necessarily eating pork, but I did eat fish. I did eat, beef. I was used to eating meat. I haven't eaten meat in years now. And so to make that shift was like, are you kidding me? I can't go to Cat's Delicatessen anymore. I can't get any more, I used to like to get fish from Bloomingdale's, like steamed fish. I used to love the smoked fish. I used to love that stuff. I'm not getting any more smoked fish anymore, which I don't. But I will say is that the trade-off of your energy and your sense of well-being is what drives me, as opposed to the taste of eating physical foods.
Right. So, it's funny you say that, because I believe, as I kind of stated earlier, life, the moment you're born, you are penetrated with a lot of half-truths and myths in the world, and most of them involve doom and gloom somewhere in the equation. It's like you mentioned, if you die, you're going to go to hell. If you don't do this, you're going to go to hell. It's doom and gloom. No matter what it is you do, there's doom and gloom down the road for you if you don't do what society wants you to do. And usually I find whatever society wants you to do is benefiting somebody that, saying, is doing real well and living real well, while we're too busy worrying about the doom and gloom. And you mentioned Cat's Deli. That's funny because for those of you who don't live in New York City, there's a deli, a famous deli in the Village called Cat's Deli, and they give you the most amount of meat in the world you can ever put on a sandwich. It's ridiculous. And I remember back in the days, we used to go down there, 3 people. We just bring a couple loaves, of, a loaf of bread, and we could make 3 sandwiches out of that one sandwich they gave you. And all 3 sandwiches will be full of meat. It's ridiculous the insane amount of meat they give you. But again, it seems like we always want more of something as human beings. We always want more of something that's not good for us. Power more on, power more scoops of ice cream on the ice cream cone, and then put, a whipped cream on top of it and sprinkles and all the other stuff that we ain't supposed to have. Just keep giving us more and more of the unhealthy stuff. They don't ever teach you to eat the healthy stuff. And again, food is medicine. There's medicine in all ways. I remember my aunt told me, I had another aunt who always used to tell me, and still in my head, don't eat to live. I'm sorry, don't live to eat to live.
Right.
And, that.
I'm going to say, Matt, I think there's a reason behind that. And that's what made me start to figure out there's an energy to food. Mm-hmm. There's an energy, and we're energy. So what do I mean by that? Energy is magnetic and energy is emanating. If I put up my cell phone right here, this cell phone, you're able to, get telephone calls because of energy. Well, what does that have to do with food and why we're in the situation we're in today? So here's something I read some years ago, and I said, that actually makes sense. So imagine a planet of beings who the way they eat is through thinking. Why? Because all like this ginger root is, or this turmeric root is nothing more than energy moving slow. The tea I'm drinking right now is nothing more than energy moving slow. The water you're drinking is energy moving slow. So imagine these beings at some point who thought, I am that I am. I am the way and the truth and the light. I am peace. I am love. I am bliss. And that was their dominant way of thinking in these physical temples. And imagine those physical beings one day saying, you know what? Let me taste some food. And they go, this food is good, man. I like this food. The same way a person may get addicted to heroin or crack or cocaine. They go, you know what? When you introduce it into your system, you change the vibratory nature of your system. If the vibratory nature of your system was vibrating here and you eat foods, while this is a good food, it lowers your vibration. If your vibration is lowered, you no longer identify with this, you're identifying with this. And because you identify with this lower vibration, you now start to desire it more. Then what happens, you get introduced to a different vibration, one that's even lower. As you get a lower vibration, you become attached to that lower vibration. You begin to forget that this was your dominant state. One of the things I did want to lay out, and one of the things that I started figuring out is that I said, wait a minute, so there must be a hierarchy to food. And for when I realized the hierarchy of food, and this is why fasting is a big thing to me, the number one form of eating, from what I've determined from people I've met who have superior health on this planet, and some of them are some of my Facebook friends, is the number one way is thinking. And when I say that, Matt, I look at food or all fuel having 2 dynamics. You're either high vibratory or low vibratory. So even thinking, high vibratory thinking. The next great food would be breathing, which would be oxygen. Oxygen is a high vibratory thing. With carbon dioxide, low vibratory will kill us. The next great food, like you talk about water. Well, water is great, or even like I'm drinking a tea. There's even a low vibratory water and a high vibratory water, and that's whether it's structured and filled with oxygen. The next thing would be fruits and then vegetables. Anything else after that, then I started to realize that you even go into lower depths. And the reason I bring it up to go into our discussion of why people have this attachment to meats or lobster or cake is because they don't realize that they're now consuming this low vibratory fuel is now going to their system. This system now is reverberating it, so it's calling forth the very thing that they want. Whereas when you fast and you cleanse out your system, your energy rises back up, and that becomes your dominant state. And that's why when you fasted, Matt, or I fast, anybody fasts, or Jesus or Moses, Zarathustra, a lot, they all will say, man, you go to an area of bliss. So it's not something unique to Jesus. So everybody's supposed to do that. Everybody that is building a skill. So,
I mean, yeah. I mean, it's funny. It's even. I mean, just not to get religious, but the people. There are many Christians who don't sometimes understand the Bible and what it says. The Bible is a book of allegory. So there's a lot of people who don't understand what is being said. With Jesus, he says he says, "And this too you shall do, and more." And basically what he's saying is, I'm not special. You know what I'm saying? You can do the same thing. You just have to learn. He said, even the Bible didn't say, I am the way, I found the way. It really is, I found the way and stuff. And, it's anybody can do it. Anybody can do it if you apply yourself to it, if you get the right learning and teaching, and, you can do the same thing anybody can do. Like Dr. Pookrum said, you can regenerate your cells. You know what I'm saying? You can, grow another arm if you lose your arm. We just forgot how to do it, or we were dumbed down in our educational system from understanding and knowing that we can do these things.
Well, let me kind of stress that a little bit, Matt. Yes, we were thumbed down, but I would tell anybody that decides to go on a path of fasting, and I say you don't have to fast 40 days. You can fast 3 days, eat 1 day. Fast 3 days, 1 day.
Sure. That's great too.
I'm going to tell you, your mind's going to open up, and you're going to be exposed to information. And why I say that? Because in the times I fasted, my mind would say, I would just feel inspired to go to a particular bookstore, and I'm finding, I'm like, this is a damn good book. Or I would go to another place, I would meet a person who, I met a gentleman named David Festiga years ago, wrote a book called The End of Disease, a fascinating book. Well, what I started realizing, Matt, is that, yes, I watched Dr. Pookrum's interview, and I loved it. Dr. Pookrum, I discovered her about 4 or 5 years ago from my brother Sid, and I've watched many of her videos, and I've read her books, but I've read articles and stuff on the internet. And really, the path to healing, from what I've seen and what I understand, and I want everybody to think about this for a second, Matt. When you're sick or when you have a disease, you can feel it. You feel pain in your leg. Everybody who had supposed coronavirus, they felt tight to the chest. They couldn't breathe. Well, if anybody ever watched or heard me ever talk, man, I always said there's only 5 reasons why people are sick. You're clogged, you're acidic, you're not getting oxygen, you're not hydrated, you're thinking screwed up. So with that being said, how do you determine, or how do you grow a new arm? How do you regenerate your body? You can actually feel it. You can actually feel it. So what do I mean? One of the key things, like I tell you, I brought some props out, Matt. So I always tell people,
there you go.
You see my names on it, right? Because we gotta have known, because we got a couple of people in the house that we got known. But I tell people, I said, many people need an enema. Give yourself an enema. If you give yourself an enema, and let's say 1 or 2 enemas, when you feel the toxins out of your system, you will feel relief. You will feel good. There are people, and I'm going to talk about this whole regeneration of arms and legs and give you an understanding of how this stuff works. So there was a gentleman, a friend of my family, and he was having some really hard pains with his legs. And so he called my brother Anemia, and my brother Anemia called me, and I said, look, go get yourself an enema. He went and got himself a colonic. Then go get yourself one of these 32-ounce jars, make yourself a green juice afterwards, and then call me. Now, before he spoke to me, he was in excruciating pain for weeks. He did that and it dissipated. Now, what am I trying to explain, and why did I tell that particular anecdote in that story? Because here's the thing. What he was experiencing, pain is a signal. Discomfort is a signal. It's a signal you're doing something to destroy your body. When you start to feel relief, it's a signal you're returning back to the blissful state of who you really are. So if a person was to go to regenerating arms, regenerating their body parts, they will feel it. And what does it feel like? It feels like harmony. It feels like bliss. It feels like beauty. It feels like love. So the key thing that people have moved away from and don't understand, Matt, is they don't realize that they are their best doctor because they feel it before anybody else. In
Right.
closing,
Right.
anybody I've ever assisted, I've assisted people with cancer, fibromyalgia, lupus. Some of the things I don't want to mention because they're really, really, what you call horrific diseases. And every one of them, I usually did it on the phone. Many of them I never met before. And they said, well, Des, well, how will I know I'll experience a healing? You know what I always said to them? Because you can feel it. What is it going to feel like? It's going to feel like belief. It's going to feel like love. It's going to feel like bliss. It's going to feel like beauty. And then they would go, they said, Des, I do feel good. I did feel great. I said, because that is how, that's your innate doctor. So it's very simple. It's not really hard at all. So that's how a person can go back to regeneration, because in the regeneration process, the feeling will be a process of growth. It'll be a process of harmony. The reason why you don't see a lot of people doing that, Matt, is because the majority of people on our planet are ignorant to these simple, not say ignorant, I didn't say people stupid. They're not knowledgeable,
Right.
simple things. But if you go on this path and you start learning and you start doing it yourself, experience it becomes the best teacher. There's one thing that you talk and me talk, but we need for you, ladies and gentlemen, to experience that for yourself. When you experience and you know firsthand that what I'm saying and what Matt's articulating to you is the truth. So yes, you can regenerate and you can do it now.
Right.
But you have to find the bliss.
You know what? And I think and again, I have to go back to, I always go back to history, especially for Black people here in America. History of slavery and what we had to go through, and the post-traumatic, slave syndrome. All those things sometimes are still embedded in us, and some sort of way we are always wanting to get the okay from the master or somebody to say it's okay to do this, and you can do this or do this and you'll be fine. And usually I always tell people, somebody tells you that, think about it, because it's something wrong. And like you said, already know in your own body, even in your own mind and spirit, you already know something, but you will push it away. Even if it makes perfect sense, you will push it away and take this pill that somebody told you to take, because this pill is going to save you. This pill is going to take away the pain and the suffering that you're having right now for this moment. And you're going to think that you're healed and the doctor healed you. And I'm not saying doctors do heal and they do help you and they serve a great purpose. But like you said, your first doctor, your first caretaker is you. Your body knows when it's not feeling well. And, on that low vibration, that lower, when we lower our vibration by the foods we eat, that allows for your vibration is in sync with your immune system. And as Dr. Puka mentioned, so when your vibration comes down, you eat certain foods you shouldn't eat, or especially if you think doom and gloom all the time and negative thoughts all the time and so on and so on, that lowers your immune system. So then you're subjected to getting sick. You're subjected to getting, all kinds of viruses and all kinds of diseases. But if your immune system is strong, chances are you won't ever get sick. I have a lot of friends of mine who call me a lot, especially during the wintertime. I haven't had the flu since 1989. And I had the flu really bad at that. I mean, I thought I was going to die. And I probably had pneumonia. Didn't even realize it and stuff. I had it bad. My ex-wife and I were moving into our first house. And I was sweating a lot and moving a lot of furniture with friends and stuff. And I just got sick. And since that day, I told myself, in my mind, I said, I'll never get sick again. I will never, ever get sick again. And I took precautions. That's when I got some echinacea, my golden seal, and all those, and mass doses of vitamin C. And also, anytime it got close to winter, I changed what I would eat. And I changed the intake of stuff that I would put into my body to make sure that my immune system was strong to fight. And I haven't gotten sick yet. There's things you can do before me. I got the flu. What can I take? Well, I'll just boil an onion and some ginger and some garlic and some cayenne pepper and drink it. And just drink that, and you'll be fine in a day or two. And it works like magic. And people are like, oh, I'm good. I feel good. It took them 2 days to get better, where they might be in bed for a week. But within 2 days, they're up and running and better. And I think that's what you got to do. I drink that all the time in the wintertime. Before I'm not even sick, I just drink it to make sure my immune system is strong. I know you are a big fan of raw food eating and plant-based diets. And I'm working again. I'm not a perfect being at all. I eat stuff I know I should eat at times, and I'm getting this movement. And I gotta have, some funny bones at a moment. Like I just want to have them today. I won't eat it tomorrow, or maybe the next day. But and then from there, I don't want no more for a long period of time. But so I'm not a perfect being, but yet I do know that what I eat into my body is what my body absorbs and energy that it absorbs. And I am working on getting myself back to a 75% plant-based diet. Got to do it slow. Got to do the moderation, because not everybody can just jump into it. When I stopped eating red meat, I did it. It wasn't a big deal for me to stop eating red meat. And that was like, I was like 20 when that happened. So I was like, no problem, no more red meat. And it was good. But sometimes you got to wean yourself off stuff. It might take a little while. So I figure if I do 75% plant-based and the other 25% is, halfway decent, but not perfect, I'll be all right. So talk about the plant-based diets.
Here's what I say, Matt. I did put on my Facebook page raw food, and there are times I will go raw food for months, and times I'll just go totally off it. I'm having veggie burgers and steamed this and steamed that. What I've come to realize, Matt, and as I travel this journey, is that we all have to have a reason of why we do what we do. Most people eat. So I'll give you a case in point. When people eat, people think they eat because it's really supposed to give them nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
People eat. All eating is for emotional imbalances.
Yeah.
All of it. And the reason why I say that is because when you fast, you go to a state of bliss. And when you go to a state of bliss, you no longer desire eating. So I'm just a common sense. Like I said, wait a minute. So I'm eating because I'm emotionally unstable. I'm just keeping it real. See, a lot of times they want the lie. I want the truth. So with that being said, Matt, here's what I say about this whole thing about raw foodists, people who are juicers, people who are fruitarians, people who are vegans. All those particular titles are nothing more, from my perspective, of stepping stones to higher realms of reality, higher realms of health. And here's the thing that many health practitioners don't talk about, many health practitioners don't say. There's never an end. It's infinite in terms of what type of being you could become. So let me see if I can give you an example. I was born in the early part of the 60s. So I remember, having, we had black and white television sets. I have to tell you, we didn't have color television sets in the Sealy household until like the 80s. So, but I remember going to my and this is this example about health, folks. Listen for a second, folks. Here's an example. So we go to our relative's house. They have the Trinitron television set. And it's like real bright color. I'm like, wow. Well, we took those people and we brought them into 2020. They look at television set like it's a piece of crap. What happened is the technology advanced. The technology we have on these iPads, these cell phones are minuscule compared to who we are. We're beings of light. Yep. So if we're beings of light, then the ultimate in terms of this physical plane are those beings. And by the way, I have 2 or 3 Facebook friends, I don't want to put their names out there, who these people will fast, Matt, for 9 months, 10 months out of the year, sometimes a whole year. And they can lift 10 times their body weight. They have photographic memory. They can speak multiple languages. They have all these what you call superior abilities. And they weren't born like that. And what happened? They have no desire to eat whatsoever. What happened to them? Their temple transformed, so now it's more accustomed to accepting the energy of thought as opposed to the energy of a tea or energy of water. The same way we have cell phones today, whereas in 1990 we didn't have this. The technology is now this is at a higher level of energy. That's who we are also. And as people understand that, Matt, then this whole myth of not being able to heal yourself will be destroyed. Everybody will say healing is easy. All you're doing is raising your vibration, and you raise your vibration by what type of energies and fuels that you're consuming on an ongoing religious basis until you eventually no longer have a desire for low vibratory foods and fuel sources. That's really how simple it really is.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, man. I get very passionate. By the way,
no, I know what you meant. That's why I brought you on. You're passionate about what you're talking about.
Well, I'm gonna tell you, man. It's funny when you first asked me. I was like, I don't know about this, Matt. Because I really got involved in this from a selfish reason. I say selfish. I wanted to go into my 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. I wanted to be healthy. I didn't care what my family, my friends. I said, oh no, I don't want to be walking around like my kid gonna push me. Nah, that wasn't gonna be me. Right. Now, of course, because I saw that how I felt, I selfishly want that for other people too. I can't force other people, but what I discovered along the way was a lot bigger. It was a lot bigger, and that's why I'm so passionate. This is not because a lot of people think, Matt, that this is my life's work. No, it's just I just wanted to be healthy, and I wanted to be able to have a solution. If my son or my lady or my family got sick, I can say do this, this, and this, and in 10, 30 minutes they're back to their better health, and that was the reason why I got into this. So.
It's so funny because you mentioned that your vibration, if you raise your vibration, I always tell people, if you raise your vibration, you will raise the quality of your life, and you will raise the quality of your life mentally, spiritually, and financially. There's nothing that you can't attract to yourself if you raise your vibration to the right state. Success is easy once your vibration is in the right state. Even if you don't have something, somebody will be attracted to you that has what you need to get you to the next level. And that's all a vibration. And even a vibration, like you said, it's not your life goal or mission or whatever, but because you started off in the fashion industry. You were a fashion designer. That's what your passion was. Saying, but and you were successful at doing it. Tell us about that real quick. How you got from fashion into
It's funny. I remember as a young kid growing up in the South Bronx, my brother Sid would go to school because he's a year older than me, and my mother would sew. And I never forget this one day she had cut out some shirts, and we went to sleep. My brother got up and went to school, but I noticed all the shirts made. I was like, my mother did that in one night. Wow, I was a 5-year-old. I was 4 years old. I would say 5 was actually 4. And I said, Ma, can you teach me how to do that? I said, well, sure. So, I always said 5. I realized I was 4 years old. At 4 years old, my mother sat me down in the sewing machine and started teaching me some of the basics of sewing machines and fabric, straight grain, cross grain. I guess because of sewing made me learn how to put things together, also take things apart. Because from sewing, I next morphed into also wanting to read mysteries. Because now I'm old. I said, I think I read mysteries because when I was learning how to sew, like how do you put in a zipper? How do you make a tailored garment? How do you make a dress? How do you make slip covers? Now, there's nothing that I've made fur coats. I mean, anything in sewing, I've probably made thousands of garments over the years. But because of that natural inclination with sewing, when I got into health and wellness, it was like, interesting. Why do people get sick? How does that happen? How do people get healthy? How does it happen? And because in sewing, if you get a sketch, if somebody does a sketch, you're supposed to be able to complete it. It never made sense to me. If you come to me and you're sick with cancer, we don't have a solution. That doesn't make sense to me. Right. It doesn't make sense to come to me and you have AIDS and we can't heal it. What? You can't. Because in sewing, when you're a designer, you get a sketch, you're supposed to deliver it. And I found out it's not sensible because it is a cure for every single disease. Mm-hmm. And I want to get to that for a second, Matt, and I want to give some basic things people understand. Many of the medicines that people take are called antioxidant medicines. You'll say, this is great antioxidant medicine. Well, right now, you could take cayenne pepper, ginger root, turmeric root, senna leaves, dandelion. I couldn't bring everything out here. These are antioxidants. I always tell people, you really let people pull it over you? If the medical profession tells you they're creating an antioxidant medicine, you don't think that when a fruit and vegetable is antioxidant, you take a lot of it, it's not going to heal you? Really? And then you have to ask yourself, this is how someone got me to figure this out. So if I need antioxidant medicine, why? So I've eaten foods that would cause me to be sick. I've eaten foods that made me be in disease state. Holy cow. I was trained that way. The same way if you make a garment and the garment's not made correctly, as a trained professional tailor, designer, pattern maker, I've done the whole gamut in the fashion industry. Somebody can come to me for a garment, I can see what stitches are wrong, if it's cut off grain, if the color's not right. The same thing with health and wellness, the exact same thing. But what you got to do is you got to learn the basics. What most people have never thought about is what are the basics of eating, what are the basics of health, and what are the basics of disease. Once you understand those basics, Matt, it's very, very simple to deal with any disease. And I want to just give one more thing, Matt, as an example. As a person of as Black or color in America, many of the things that afflict Black people is sickle cell anemia. Okay, there's a gentleman who's one of my Facebook friends that I met a couple of years ago, that he would have these really, really hard problems with sickle cell. Now, I never dealt with sickle cell before, so I'm looking up online. Sickle cell anemia is a situation where your blood is not getting oxygen, and because of getting oxygen, the cells, your blood turns into cells, and it's like sticking you. So, I said, the 5 reasons why you're sick: you're acidic, you're clogged, you're not getting oxygen. Get him oxygen. So I said, yo, I don't want to say his name. I said, go out and get yourself some food-grade hydrogen peroxide, 35%. He said, really? Yes. I said, I'm going to send you a book. I didn't write the book. I'm going to send you some literature. I want you to start taking 3 drops 3 times a day to 25 drops. I heard from that gentleman about 4 or 5 months ago. He said, Des, for years I suffered because of sickle cell issues. I did that simple regimen of taking, this is 35% in a jar, of taking 35% and dropping it. He said, Des, I haven't had any outbreaks like that in years. And for years, I suffered. So for years, this gentleman spent all this money for something so simple. All you got to do, folks, is use your common sense. Healing is about common sense. I'm like, folks, I mean, we're adults. We got to start using our common sense. So I want to give a little insight, and like I said, if I'm passionate, I apologize, folks, but I really want people to really get the information, because I know it's not difficult, and I want you to understand it's easy to go through a healing. It is really, really very easy.
Yeah. I mean, I do believe that people believe being healthy is hard. You have to always eat right. You have to exercise. You have to be in the gym 5 hours a day. You have to do it. It really isn't. You know what I'm saying? It's really some basic things that you can do. Now, the more you do, the healthier you will be, and the stronger your body will be, and what have you. But you can keep your vibration pretty high if you just did some simple things. But I think, again, I've always, and I use that term, that we've been dumbed down and led astray to believe that we had to have these 3 square meals a day, and we had to, the 5 food groups, and half of the 5 food groups is not good for you, especially the dairy stuff. You know what I'm saying? So, so there's a lot of things that we can do to improve our health, and to, I mean, even just stuff that you like, you can raise your vibration by doing what you like. Like you were fashion. I'm quite sure when you made a pattern or designed a suit or whatever, your vibration was high because you've been creative. You were being creative. I'm the same way, being a musician all my life. And, I noticed that, my vibration is really high. I haven't really played in, I did this on Facebook about a month or so ago when a friend died in my old band, and I went on and played my guitar just for a second, just in his honor. And a lot of people didn't even know I played. You know what I'm saying? People know me a long time, but know what he plays and stuff. Man, I play. I can tour with people and do all that stuff. I'm really good, but I miss my vibration. I know is or my creativity is higher. Started getting higher again once I started playing. It's like now I try to play every week, just grab my guitar and just, do an hour. And my mind expands because my energy is being raised, from the harmony of the music is bringing my energy and my body back into harmony by doing so. So whatever it is that you like, if you like to draw or paint or sing or whatever it is, continuously do it, because that's what the universe gave you to keep harmony with yourself.
Look like this, Matt. You just said you like music.
Right.
I actually like to sew. I do like designing. But when you're sewing, or if you're playing a guitar, if somebody's bouncing a basketball, if somebody's playing a video game, they're also thinking. So if you're thinking about something you love, then that thought is your eating. That's why I said the number one form of eating is thinking. So because I also want to, because we have people on the line that may not be able to play guitar, they may not be able to sew, but what can you and I tell that person of how they can direct their focus so that they are in a blissful state when they may not feel they don't have any type of skills, and everybody does, by the way. So
sure,
some things that I've said to people is this: the easiest way to get yourself into doing something you really love is from wherever you're at this particular point, is you look for things in your immediate arena that you can appreciate. And so an example would be, I appreciate the fact that I can have a conversation with Matt, on a Saturday afternoon. I appreciate the fact that I could make myself some tea and sip tea while I'm talking to Matt. I appreciate the fact that I do have a phone that I could talk and keep in contact with my friends. I appreciate the fact that I have something as simple as a pen where I could take notes. I appreciate the fact, that I'm alive. I appreciate the fact that my lady made this beautiful hat for me. All right. I appreciate the fact that I'm going to convince her to make some more hats for me. Now, what do I mean by that, Matt? Some people say, well, Des, that's so basic. Well, a key thing about when you played your music, Matt, or if I'm, sewing something, we're thinking about why we love it. We're thinking about why we appreciate it. Like, I never really thought about that until I got into health and wellness. I was like, wait a minute, that's why I was working. But really, I can do anything right now. I tell myself all the time, I said, son, when I'm taking a bath, I'm appreciating the fact that I'm in the tub. I can put my iPad, I can play music. Every single moment of the day, I look for things to appreciate. And the key thing about that, why that's a big thing, Matt, when you play your music, Matt, when I'm doing sewing, or somebody learns how to get themselves in that certain state, they now go into a euphoric state. Now, how does that happen? The first manifestation that we have, Matt, is our thoughts. So if we have a thought of appreciation, then more things of appreciation will come to us, and it starts to spiral into an orgasmic state, and that orgasmic state brings more beautiful things. We get more beautiful things, and we go, oh, life is good. Then all of a sudden, we're in a zone where most of us, what we do is, I hate my job. Hate it, I'm going to work. These damn kids are driving me crazy. And you create an orgasmic state in the other direction, and this is why life spirals out of control, and we have all this havoc in our society. So I think that's what's going on. Is how we're using our thinking process.
That's interesting. You use that term orgasmic state, and you can. I never thought about it. You can have an orgasmic state in the opposite direction or the opposite way, and you don't even realize it. It's not orgasmic for you because it doesn't feel good. But on the negative side, you are feeding that negative energy or that lower vibration and making it happy. Which is part of your energy, saying there's the again and the yang, and you are feeding some part of your being by in the reverse way that you want to feed it, and before we close, because we've been talking for an hour about a lot of different things, but I wanted to take some time to talk about what people are going through today with the COVID-19 and people are dying around us, and so, it's a sorrowful thing to see people die that you love. I've had people that I know who have died, at least 4 or 5 people who have died. I just had an aunt just died last weekend from it. And how we take death, or how we take our participation in this pandemic as it's going on, is something that I find interesting. And even dealing day to day, just on Facebook, post something and see how people respond to it. And I'm seeing the energy that people bring to it, and the knowledge base or the thinking that they bring to what side of the coin they're on, that they go to based on their belief system. But I'm noticing, people who are watching the news every day, doom and gloom, doom and gloom, doom and gloom. But what do you feel about the world today and society and people reacting to what's going on now in society? Because this happens every 5 years. There's always some kind of virus that pops up every 5 years, and it's always doom and gloom. But how do we react to it, especially being quarantined in your house? I went out today because the sun was shining today, and I went out today because I've been broadcasting and I've been tired. I said, the sun's shining. I got 3 hours before my next broadcast. I'm out of here. So I put my clothes where it was gone. And there's a lot of people out there. It was a beautiful day. I looked at the news. The parks were full of people. The beaches in New York and Long Island and other places were full of people. But everybody has a mask on, which I always thought was crazy. Why are you wearing the mask? He said the people who are sick should be quarantined, not the people who are healthy. But that's just logic to me. But what do you feel about this whole situation and people doing what they're doing or feeling what they're feeling in the relationship to their health?
I think the coronavirus exposes those who know and those who don't know. And there are people that I was, I had the pleasure of meeting because I did a video, and many of my videos, were really because I wanted to be able to share information with my close family members and friends. I like the fact that I'm able to meet different people, but a lot of my family members and friends didn't know what I want. So here's the point of me bringing it up, is that some of the people I met did suffer from the coronavirus scare.
Sure.
Right? And they called me back and said, Des, what you suggested really worked. So what did happen? They said, well, Des, I'm terrified, I'm afraid. What would you do? All right, what you should do, take this enema bag. Literally, I said, give yourself enema. He said, why would you give enema? So, and this is about when you know what you're talking about. I said, because you are congesting your chest, and because you're congesting your chest, you can feel it, right? So when you drain yourself with the enema, your colon, your small intestine, your large intestine drain, your lymph system drains, you'll feel your chest opening up. And that's exactly what happens. So next thing I want you to do, get yourself a bunch of lemons. You can make yourself some ginger, and dice up this, an inch or two of this, put it in something like this, and drink it, and give me a call. Every one of them, hurting chest, tight chest, can't breathe. Oh my God, does that work right away? So what's interesting about that, Matt, is that there are people every single day dying of people terrified because they got a chest.
Right.
Clean your system out. That's it. Clean your system out and learn what herbs will heal you. And, and so for me, what it exposes to me is the hypocrisy we have amongst ourselves. The reason I said that is because I'm not stuttering. No, if you bring a person, a coronavirus patient to me, I will guarantee in a day or two, no coronavirus. Ain't no theory to me. Now, here's the thing. Here's why I say the hypocrisy in our society. I don't claim to be a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, a Jew, and I respect all the religions. I really do. Here's the point. If we go around telling kids and telling people Jesus, Jehovah, Allah, and Buddha, all things possible, and then we say we can't heal from disease, you're a hypocrite. And you don't know what you're talking about. Because you can't have two. Either if Jesus, on Allah, and Buddha, and Jehovah, all things are possible, or it's not. If it's not, okay, you're right, you're going to die. Now, I do believe, and I do know it is possible, but maybe the information that you're imparting, you don't really understand it. And maybe you may look at a different point of view and say, wait a minute. Well, if this crazy guy named Des, this crazy guy named Matt, or other people that they find have these solutions, and I try it and it works, maybe they do know what they're talking about. And I've experienced that with a number of people since I posted a video. I didn't post the video because I was trying to get likes. I was shocked that it went that viral because I didn't know what was going to happen. I just wanted people to be healthy, and I'm excited that people used what I said and they were able to get relief not a week from now, within the same day. Because really, most healing is not very difficult. It happens very rapidly, and the reason why I knew they were getting healing, they can feel it.
Right.
And there you go. So it exposes who knows and who doesn't know. That's what this is. So when crisis comes, you're going to know who knows what the real deal is.
But and like you said, you do know yourself. You do. Your body knows first what's going on and what. And I always tell people when I talk about things, I put myself out there on Front Street. First I say, well, look, I'm not doing this, and I'm not doing this, and especially now, the last 3 years, of course, when I'm dealing with the TV network, I've become a lot more sedentary than I normally am. I haven't gotten to the gym like I normally would be at, and my sister was teasing me the other day about my muscles and said, well, what happened to them? And the thing, but I noticed that even like where I live, and right now you're probably hearing a lot of noise. It might be coming through. It is 7:00, and claps to the first responders and the people who are in the trenches working. It's 7:00. Everybody's out there making noise, especially where I live on the terrace. Everybody comes out on the terrace now, and they just bang pots and pans. And one brother got a trumpet out there. He starts playing every day, and it's like it goes off like 15 minutes out there. They party out there, celebrate the people who are on the front lines. I told him one day I'm gonna put my guitar on the damn terrace and turn it real loud and do Jimi Hendrix solo for what's that, the national anthem, and do that. But I would tell people, because I became sedentary and not moving a lot, and when I got to go somewhere, usually it's me and Jasmine going to a meeting or going somewhere. I'm in a car, you know what I'm saying? And where I walk, I would walk from, I live in the Bronx, so I would walk away from the Bronx down to the village sometimes, and do like walk, but I haven't done that in years. I haven't walked through the park in years. I've been really busy with business, so things get lax, and I noticed that my wind was different when I would take the train somewhere and then walk to the train station where I live. The steps I get off the train, I get off, it's about 5 stories below ground, and you got to walk up all these stairs, and then get up, depending what train I take, I got to walk up a hill, and I would notice that I would get a little winded after that. Wow, my cardiovascular system is really shot. I'm not doing stuff, but because of coronavirus, and I'm like, well, something's going on, so let me protect myself and make sure that my immune system is high. I started doing the water and cayenne pepper every day. I drink that. I drink a glass of, a tablespoon of cayenne pepper and a glass of water, and I drink that in the morning and at night. And then you go to the cayenne pepper, and like today, I walk. When I left the house to go on my walk, I do it every day. I've been noticing that my wind is different. My breathing is back to normal again, and I noticed that when I walked that route, I walked down to the train station, I was going to go to the store, and walked all the way back around and up, fine. And I'm like, you know what? It's the cayenne pepper. It's just opened up everything, within me, and doing the things and getting active again because of this coronavirus. It made me think to say, you know what? You need to get out there and make sure that I knew it was, but, be proactive in what I was doing and think positive. People walking around scared. I'm like, I'm going outside. It's not going to bother me. You know what I'm saying? I'll be fine, only wore a damn mask because they made me wear a mask now to go into the store. You know what I'm saying? Like, what is wrong with y'all? Everybody walking around with masks and stuff. Like, I can't even see the energy of your smile now. Yeah. And most people probably not even smiling; they're frowning because they wear their damn mask. So there's a bunch of people walking around with a frown on their face, just covered up by a mask. So, is there any last words? Because I don't want to keep you too long. I know you got other things to do. You got to fast. You got to probably start. So, is there anything you want to say that you think is important that people should know? And again, as we start off early, we're not doctors. We're not in any form of the medical profession. We're just, 2 guys talking health and talking about things that we believe, and they might contradict each other or might contradict what other people think, and that's fine. We all are entitled to our thoughts. We all have free will still, and then I always tell people, think it's not illegal yet. So, so is anything you want to close with? Anything you want to say? Do you want to close with?
I would say start learning how to take care of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Know that you're responsible for your health. Some simple things that anybody can do, especially an adult, is if you never gave yourself enemas before, start utilizing enemas. Have a couple of things in your house. Cayenne pepper is one of them. If you don't know what it is for, start understanding what cayenne pepper is for. Understand another key thing I would say You know, for many people, is you want to have something called activated chart. I don't sell these things. You activated
Activate
chart.
chart.
Is an excellent tool that deals with so many health ailments that people can have. Those are a couple of basic things. Start questioning, you know, why you eat what you eat. You know, if you haven't fasted before and you're a Christian, you're a Muslim, you're a Jewish person, understand that the people that made your religion the way they are today were people who fasted. And maybe there was a reason why they fasted. So you don't have to fast for 30, 40 days. Anybody can fast for a day. You fast for a day, eat a day, fast to eat a day, and watch the transformation in your body. And as your body transforms, your mind transforms. Your mind transforms, you're going to be led to more information. You're led to more information, then it's not a matter of what Matt says or what I say. You now know it. You're the expert. You know what you know. There's no theory. And so that's what I would say. If I can get inspired people to fast, please, you know, it doesn't cost you anything to fast. I mean, you fast, you save money. And as Matt says, whenever I really fast seriously, all type of blessings flow in my life, including financial. You know, I don't want to get into my personal business, but I remember one time I had an experience with Rhonda, and I said, Rhonda, if I fast, things come to me. And Rhonda thought I was kidding. When I did it, she was like, that's my lady. She was like, holy cow, this. It's that, I'm like you, Matt, and everybody else, is that while I've done it, I still struggle with my own ignorance. And that's me being truthful. And I know what I know, I know that I'm breaking past the bonds of some of my addictions, and not drugs, folks, but addictions. I think of low vibratory foods like a veggie burger, veggie patty. That's addiction to me. So at times I have to fight that myself. But I'm having fun with it. I don't persecute myself and hate myself, and have fun with it. That's the key thing I'm gonna say too. Do not do this and be tense. I have fun with the journey. Have fun with the journey, and that's what I have to say. Thanks. And thanks, Matt, for inviting me on this.
No, brother, I appreciate you being here, and I definitely echo your thoughts and your sentiments. I believe the same way. I'm a metaphysician, by thing, and I always look at the beyond the physical, and that's within our spiritual beings of who we are. And I always tell people, just keep your vibration high, keep your thoughts high. Don't think negative thoughts. It's not doom and gloom. Nothing, like you said, nothing is doom. The universe created your body to ward off any virus, any germ. The universe gave you all types of herbs and plants to get rid of anything. It's there. It put it out there for you. Now, if you want to believe that the Wizard of Oz is going to save you, then that's up to you. If you want to believe that, that's up to you to believe, and that's not to say that. But I'm going to believe that my mind is powerful enough to help heal and boost my immune system, and my mind is clear enough to think about what I need to do to add to that and to bring the fuel into myself and do what we have to do. So, and even then, like I said, I put myself on front street. I know if I'm doing something wrong or whatever situation is, I drink water all the time. I have water in this plastic bottle right now, and I know it's not supposed to be a plastic bottle. My sister got it me a few minutes ago. Why you drink out of a plastic bottle? You know what I'm saying? I understand why you drink out of a plastic bottle, and I know it should be in a glass bottle. But again, none of us are perfect, and that's the one thing when people say none of us are perfect. I am definitely not perfect at anything, but I have fun with life, and I have fun living on a higher vibration. And once you reach that higher vibration of life, you will see how much fun it is. I just invite people to join me up there, because I'm not coming down there. I'm not coming down to lower vibrational situations. So join Des and I and a whole bunch of other people up in a high vibrational party. The rooftop party is always the best party. So let's go to the top and do that. But Des, again, brother, thank you, man, for coming on with us. We got another last. We're going to end it out with the H2W crew at 8:00. So I got to get myself set up for that. I might have to put a suit on. It's the last show. Thank you, everybody. But I thank everybody who's watched us this evening and has chimed in. Great advice, great information, I'm saying. But we're going to keep moving. And I'm going to go find me some. I'm going to go eat a couple of tangerines right now. That's what I'm going to do before I go into there later. Jazz, thanks again, brother. We're going to sign
right.
off right now. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have a good night. Have a good day, a good week, a good weekend. It's going to be 76 degrees tomorrow. And I will be outside. I will be outside ready doing that. So, but I'll have my mask handy. I will have my mask handy when I need it. But if you pass me in the street, I probably won't have it on. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going. We'll talk later. Thanks, Des.
All right. Take care.
All right. See you later, Mom.